Good morning from paradise, friends. Crypto Amaru is in the house. We got, of course, the Hitman. We are pleased to be joined with new friends of ours. It's the Vox team. These guys just launched a farming protocol on Pulse Chain. It's absolutely killing it. We called it to our DAO group at $25,000 market cap real early. It's now sitting close to 100,000, so it's an easy 4x for you guys. And I think a lot of room to run with all the sustainable farming they have. They have multiple tokens. There's a lot of tech behind it. Smart DeFi guys. Pleased to have you on the show, my friends. So, all right, why don't we just start with this? If you don't mind introducing yourselves, your background in crypto, and then maybe you can segue into what is Vox and why should be the preeminent farm on Pulse Chain.
Yep. Do you want to go first, Definition, or shall I go first?
Oh, you can go first, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Thanks for the intro, Crypto Amaro. So yeah, we've been basically developing Pulse Chain since day one. Partnering with other projects, helping develop stuff. Been in crypto since early 2017, actually. That really started investing into crypto. Before that was actually started buying Bitcoin back in 2013, but had no idea what we were doing actually. So, but yeah, Pulse Chain, hardcore, Pulsicons, Hexicons since day one. Having SEC for both Pulse Chain and PulseX. We just want to see the chain succeed. We know that all of this is community driven, and we're part of the community driving value for the chain, introducing good, solid, transparent DeFi products, solid code, tried and tested products, and trying to bring also some innovation in terms of yield and scarcity for Pulse Chain users. That's a little bit about me, and we'll be talking more about Vox, right? What we bring to the table, what we bring to Pulse Chain.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that intro, man. Yeah, DeFi Nation, if you don't mind introducing yourself as well, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, so I've been in crypto since like 2016. Got into Bitcoin like $600. Been in a couple bull cycles now. Got into Hex before the big payday event. Got into Pulse Chain for both sacrifices. Kind of started getting involved with different projects on Pulse Chain. Became team members on like IMPLS, Impulse Finance, and then with Emit Farms. We did the feature video with you guys, I think about a few months ago. And then I kind of started to use these farms with Vox, the Vox farms hype and increase. Started talking with Nova and Cabal King, the team members, and just really liked their protocol. Everything lives up to the RH standards of verified, immutable code, no admin keys, burnt LP, deflationary tokenomics. So got an interest to kind of help them on the marketing side. I used to actually work in the film studios when I was in LA, like Sony Picture Studios, Lionsgate, in the marketing department. So I kind of using some of that background to kind of help these crypto projects on Pulse Chain.
Very cool,
Yeah,
man.
it's really good to see. I was going to say the same thing. If the name and the picture looks familiar, guys, it's because DeFi Nation was on our call with Emit. And we do know Emit, we called around 49 cents. It's ran as high as $3. I think it's around $1.25 or $1.30 right now, producing big APRs. But there is some overlap here. I see Vox on Emit, I see Emit on Vox, and we'll see some of those farms. And it's nice to see that instead of trying to directly compete with each other, these yield generating and yield offering assets are actually working with each other to better their code, cross collaborate, and allow more farming opportunities for people on Pulse Chain and projects of Pulse Chain as well.
Yeah, so we did a collaboration with Emit. We did with Vox Finance. We put up a farm category on Emit for Vox. Started with the Emit Vox pair, and then Incognito Vox, and now Hype and Vox. And then also we put Emit pair on Increase farms, so you can take your tokens you're earning from both farms and pair them together.
I love what you guys doing with the cross-pollination, cross-collaboration across communities, and I think it's a testament to you guys and then also kind of the Pulse Chain ethos, right? Very community-driven, grassroots approach. I mean, that's one thing I love about Pulse Chain in general. I will mention, too, there is a Surf Vox farm up on your site. I believe that's generating about 300% APR, if I'm not mistaken. So just tell us about, I guess, the vision of Vox. There's a lot of farming protocols across crypto space, of course, particularly within Pulse Chain as well. What do you think kind of separates Vox from, say, your other farming protocols out there?
Yep, I can answer that one. So first of all, Vox is entirely community driven, just like Pulse right? And I think those collaborations happen naturally with people who are truly building on the chain. They naturally connect with each other and start forming partnerships, and that just enhances the overall value for both ecosystems, right? Because these are all bonded together. So, we started collaborating with Surf Token, with Emit. And so, as you said, yeah, Surf Token's paying 300% APR right now. The main ethos behind Vox, Vox stands for voice, right, in Latin. And that's what we're trying to do, spread our voice to the people, right? And so people understand these are purely community driven, solid, tried and tested, transparent DeFi products where they can feel like safe in using it. And differentiating factor is we actually introduced a lot of different game theory to these farms when talking about Vox, right? Game theory to drive scarcity, game theory to sustain these super high APRs. So right now, as you see, they're all the protocol's been live for almost like 5 months, and obviously paying a lot higher APR as they launched because the inflationary nature of the emissions, they're all obviously super high in the beginning. But so yeah, but there's still sustaining super high APR, right? 300%. And if you go into our hype farms and increase farms, those APRs are actually even higher, right? 800%, 600%. So, but the differentiating factor, right, is we're driving scarcity and we're driving this superb yield, right, on these protocols. So, what drives scarcity is we have a multitude of tokens that are actively buying and burning Vox token, right? So you have hype token which burns Vox, buys and burns Vox, which is one of our farms. You have increase token which buys and burns Vox. You have Zilla token which buys and burns Vox. You have VBurn which buys and burns Vox. And the natural compounding of these farms, they'll drive the volume which drives the buy and burn. So there's a lot of scarcity involved. So which helps sustain these APRs, right? And another differentiating factor is you can also stake your Vox either single side or pair it with one of the other farm tokens to help reduce any dump pressure, right, as well, and gain more APR. I think if you see the hype farm, hype Vox APR, it's actually pretty high. I think it's in the 400-300% range if you pair it with hype. And another differentiating factor is, a lot of these farms that we're releasing, you can also earn RH core tickers and burn RH core tickers in the process, right? So our farms are a combination of, traditional PulseX farm, but which the token you're earning is actually also a yield token, right? Which could yield you PulseX if you keep it in your wallet. Either by holding or providing liquidity, you're earning PulseX automatically in your wallet, and you're burning PulseX as well, or ink, or for that matter. And so what happens is, there's natural volume in the farm as people stake and compound and take profit for their high APRs. And that volume is what's driving the yield in some of these protocols. And
Very cool.
if you want to earn the yield, you're naturally, you want to hold the token, which also helps sustain that high APR and reduce any dump pressure of the inflationary nature of farms. But in tandem, there's also burn built into all these protocols. So we've seen that Hype sustained 3% burn rate, even though that there's we're emitting tokens at a 0.1 tokens per second, which is actually 10% less than the inflation experienced in the PulseX farms. So apologies if I spoke too many technicals, but just trying to give like a good insight on how these protocols work. DeFi Nation probably can add a lot more to what I said.
Yeah, I mean the Vox team has built a whole suite of like an ecosystem of tokens, all like reflection tokens. If you go to the products page on the website, You can see, all the different tokens you're able to earn: PLS, reflection rewards, PLSX, INC, Hex, Wrap Bitcoin, PGCC, UFO. So that's really cool. I think of almost like a dozen tokens that they have in their ecosystem, and all of them are buying and burning Vox as well. And then, like I said, they're all like immutable code, no admin keys, LP burnt. So that's really, really, important. Incognito was one of their first big tokens that pays out an INC. I think it's paid out over 200,000 INC, which is worth millions of dollars to holders, at higher prices. So they have, some credibility there. And yeah, the farms, they're all, really high APR. They have really good tokenomics of, when you claim the tokens, like on the hype farms, when you claim the hype token, leave it in your wallet, you're earning PLSX reflection rewards. On the increase farms, claim the increase you're farming, leave it in your wallet, you're earning INC rewards from that. So there are, kind of some closed loops there to keep earning yield without having to like sell your tokens.
Yeah, with any of these farm tokens, it is really important to have that closed loop. With emit, the closed loop is you can solo stake the emit to earn PDI. So then it's like, okay, well, what does Vox do different? And Vox has the option to solo stake the Vox, or you can pair the Vox with one of these other two tokens that you have for high APRs. And then, like you said, those loops close by just holding them and earning reflection rewards, which many people in this community are aware of, because the Surf token you can just hold in your wallet, and based on volume you earn deflationary reflection rewards based on that trading volume. So pretty easy concept for this community to hear. So Vox has been showing some strength here. We'll look at the chart real quick, and then we'll see what else Crypto Amaru wants to ask you guys. But let's throw this up here. For Surf members, we got in contact with you guys, and Surf DAO members, so 200,000 Surf or more gets you in the DAO community of Surf, and along with getting voting rights and so many other benefits, you do get our early calls of who Crypto Paradise has interest in and who we're going to be working with. We called it down here around 25,000 market cap. It's now 90,000 market cap, and again, the Surf Vox LP pair is paying about 300% APR. And what's interesting about this is this market capitalization is still tiny. With the pump that we're seeing in Pulse Chain, with people starting to understand and trust these yield, these farms have a lot of upside potential while already producing massive APRs. And we've seen when the token price goes up, that APR price jumps as well, just due to how the token economics work. So it's nice that you guys have the burns. It's nice that you guys have the closed loops, that people can do stuff with this Vox rather than just sell it as they earn it.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, if you compare farming, let's call it farming 1.0 on the, layer 1s and layer 2s that are perhaps more well-known, Ethereum, and they're popular on BSC for a while, Polygon perhaps, those were highly inflationary, but you didn't have the offsetting token taxes and the offsetting burns that result from that to sort of mitigate that inflation. Whereas on Pulse Chain, you have that token tax ecosystem, you have the automatic burns, and in the case of Vox, you have an entire grouping of tokens that all sort of funnel back in some way, shape, or form towards the Vox token. And so that's why I think you guys are able to achieve, almost no inflation on the Vox token. You said 0.1 tokens per day, or so, I forget what.
Yeah, I can.
Excuse me. And still achieve these high APYs. That's very unique to Pulse Chain, I think. Anyway, I'm not an expert in this by any stretch, but that's what sort of jumps out at me is like hearing from you guys, hearing from emit farms. There's something unique to Pulse Chain. It's really the buy and burn function that I think allows these farms to be sustainable. So those who maybe go, oh, farming's just going to inflate the token into nothingness, it'll be worth nothing in a month. That's not really the case here on Pulse Chain. So I think people need to sort of open their eyes and recognize that. Do you think that, am I right on that? Or is there something perhaps more to the sustainability of what you guys have built? Or is that really what it comes down to?
No, 100%. You hit the nail on the head. I think what we need to educate people is these farms are indeed extremely sustainable, right? Because even at this like infancy kind of stage where they're still small, not as big of a volume, even though everything is, increasing price action volume. If you look at the emission rate for all of these farms, even after 10 years, you don't get much more than 31 million tokens in the market, which is a little bit more than kind of like 50% more than the supply of Bitcoin, which is a very small supply, right? So for all of these farms, even after 10 years, you still get about 31 million tokens in the market total. And the inflation at year 10, since this emission is linear, it's really only around 10% a year. in terms of inflation, which is, kind of what your dollar devalues. So they're extremely scarce assets, even though they are at this moment, which we're emitting these tokens somewhat inflationary. There's all of these burn mechanisms driving buy and burn, targeting Vox and targeting themselves, right? Which also helps sustain this APR, right? And the options of like staking it and pairing it together to avoid any like the token dump that we see in farms in general. So all of that is built in place. And there's one additional factor, right? Where we've released the farm that you can yield PLSX with, which is the hype farm, right? We yield a farm which you can yield and burn ink, which is the increase farm, with every token that's attractive to the market. Example, Hex, Most. We're gonna keep adding these farms to these protocols, and they're gonna keep targeting buy and burn at Vox, right? So we've seen that whenever we add a new product, we see a new revenue stream of like buy and burn, helping sustain these protocols. And yeah, it's truly sustainable because the token that you're earning, it's basically example hype and increase. They're that giving you like ink and straight into your wallet, and helping burn, bringing utility to the RH ecosystem. So there's a ton of value, and I don't think this has ever been done before, with a farm specifically. So there's a ton of value there, because I think the dilemma, right, with farms is that, okay, tokens are going to go down because people are going to dump it for profit. And the dilemma with yield tokens and reflection tokens is that if there's no volume activity, because people tend to hold to earn those rewards, then there's no revenue generation for those reflections, right? So when you combine both, when you combine the farm, you're giving the engine that's creating the volume via people restaking, compounding, capturing profits, that sustains the yield continuously on these other protocols that are paying you in PLSX, Inc., and upcoming, Hex, Most, and whichever token is attractive to the market, even, third-party tokens. And it's interesting to see these collaborations where we see a super high APR with Surf, right, around 300%. And probably once these Surf token hits, these other farms, the APR will be even higher, probably around 600 to 800% what we expect. So it's pretty cool.
That's a great point, actually, about the interplay between the farming and the reflective or the tax token, that nature of the token. So the farm almost, results in either selling or maybe restaking or whatever, but that then fuels the volume, right? Which kind of fuels the burning. It almost creates a self-sustaining ecosystem. So I think, yeah, early days for Vox, it's sitting at $80,000 market cap. I mean, I think a lot of upside here. Of course, anyone watching, disclaimer, standard disclaimer we always do your own research. Make sure you like it yourself. This is your jumping off point for research, not the be-all, end-all. So check out Vox. Make sure you like it if you want to ape in. All right, one other question for you guys, and then maybe I'll turn it over to Hitman too here. There's other tokens sort of within your ecosystem. You mentioned Hype. You mentioned another one. Tell us about those in a little bit more detail and kind of how they all work together.
Yeah, let me just mention something about the inflationary aspect, because you guys had a good point on that. So currently, actually the supply of all three tokens is relatively low. There's only a 1.2 million supply on Vox, 500,000 supply on Hype, and 300,000 supply on Increase. And you would think that with APRs, between 300 and 1,000% between these three farms, that they're high inflationary. But actually, it's the opposite. The inflation rate on all three is only 0.1 tokens emitted per second, which is about 8,600 tokens a day. At current prices, it's only like $600 a day that's actually emitted to each farm. So if you compare that to like the PulseX farms when they launched, both PulseX and the 9-inch farms on INC and BBC emissions were 1 token per second. It was actually 10 times higher the rate. So we're at about 1/10 of that. We saw both those tokens do like 30x's last year when Pulse Chain ran up, and the supplies on those, are also probably, I think 40 million, 50 million tokens compared to like under 1 million tokens on these. So yeah, we're really poised to like be able to send with the inflation rate being low, deflationary, buying and burning of all the tokens. And then even like with the market caps being under 100,000, increases market cap is only 25,000. The market cap to liquidity ratio is really healthy. So there's actually about 90,000 in liquidity on Vox token, being a lower market cap than the liquidity it has. Hype, it's around 60,000 in liquidity, and that's only around a 40,000 market cap. So yeah, I mean, the more that people add to these farms, the TVLs of each grow, and then the liquidity gets stacked up, and then the APRs rise from the the price increasing as well.
Wow, so the market caps are actually lower than total liquidity in the case of
Yeah,
On
Hype and Vox.
all three
yeah,
tokens. Yeah.
and you see that in a lot of our tokens. You take like Incognito, for example, or Phoenix. Um, if you want to jump to the profile, but like Incognito has like around 170,000 in liquidity. If you go to product section, um, you should have like you could choose Phoenix or Incognito. So Incognito, if you see, it paid out already $200,000 plus in ink, right? And it burned $40,000 of ink. And there's I can't look at the screen. There's $109,000 in liquidity. But that's just in the PLS, PLSX, and Ink pair, right? Just those core 3 RH tickers. But when you look at the market cap, it's it's incredibly low related to liquidity in general. So all of our protocols, they have extremely like healthy liquidity to market cap ratio.
Sounds like you guys just got to get the word out there a little bit more. So on that note, obviously, we're out here doing what we can, recording this video with you guys, made the call of the DAO group. Any other marketing plans on the horizon? Are you looking to partner with other projects from the Pulse chain? Are you talking to other influencers? You looking to do giveaways? Like what is the marketing plan here coming from Vox?
Definitely, partnering with Emid, partnering with Surf, right? We have upcoming Surf tokens in the Hype farms in the next couple of weeks, in a Hype and also an Increase. And the cool thing, if you think like if you're not satisfied with the 300% APR, right? Which is amazing. Where do you get 300%? On a token that's being actively bought and burnt, right? So you're also gonna be able to have even higher APR, surely, upon launch, right? We all know that once a farm launches, the APRs are extremely high, especially for the first people that join. But just looking at the farms per se, and the way the APRs are structured, we are obviously seeing higher APRs in Hype and Increase around 600-800%. So that's kind of what we expect for Surf token, around 600-800% APR. And you're also going to be earning a token that helps you stack PLSX and stack Ink, naturally, automatically getting deposited into your wallet if you're not selling your rewards. But obviously you can compound, take profit, do whatever you wish with your rewards. And these APRs, just to put in perspective, for people, make it easier, more digestible. It's kind of like you're earning close to 1% a day on Vox, and then on Hype you'd be earning close to 2% a day, and on an Increase you'd be earning close to 2.5% a day, approximately. Obviously, these vary according to market conditions, but yeah. So those are upcoming partnerships right off the bat. Very prosperous and really happy to partner with Surf. Their community is amazing, really, and that's how we strengthen Pulse Chain, and right, we strengthen each other just by collaborating and working together. It's amazing to see.
That man.
Yeah.
Go
I was
ahead.
going to say that, that's good to see. I think Vox has a lot of upside potential. The APR is great, and where you can use it is amazing as well. Hopefully, we get to see your two faces in the Surf DAO soon. And for anybody else watching, 200,000 Surf gets you in the DAO group to get these early calls, this alpha, and connections to founders of projects. There's other Pulse Chain founders in the group who hold 200,000 Surf or more. So good to see. And you're talking about, the yields being between 1% and 2.5% a day. And I think that's something that resonates with the Surf group as well. If you have 400 Surf or more, we actually have a partnership with Frontier Fund, which is a crypto hedge fund. And over the course of 60 days, they have produced 1.55 daily yield by doing low leverage trading on Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. So just like we believe Vox and the farms with hype, hopefully, and increase are going to be very beneficial to anyone's portfolio to earn that daily yield as another outlet for passive income. If you have 400,000 surf or more, you can get into the Frontier Fund, which is producing about 1.55% of yield based on actual traders, algorithms trading that fund for you behind the scenes. So a couple things, couple of ways that the collaboration continues, and I really hope to see you two guys and more Vox community members finding their way into the Surf DAO, having a vote on the direction of Surf moving forward. And of course, with that, we're also going to see Surf with Vox, Surf with Hype, and Surf with Increase to further that relationship.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. The way I look at these farming protocols, and you mentioned Frontier Fund and other opportunities you brought, it's all about diversification, right? Like sometimes you want to ape into these low cap memes that, come in front of us and we call and they do extremely well. Like I'm thinking about Dose, for example. Substance did like a 10x in the course of a week from the time we called it till today. But, those are higher risk, higher reward type plays. You want to supplement that, I think anyway, in a perfect world, if you have the capital, with some maybe lower risk, farming opportunities, lower risk trading opportunities, so it's really about creating a diversified portfolio that does create some passive income for you. You know what I mean? Like what's better than having your money work for you? You don't have to do anything with these farming protocols, really. You don't have to do anything with Frontier Fund. You deposit the money and let the protocol work, let the DeFi work, or let the traders go to work. And you can chill, you can relax, you can, touch grass, spend time with your family. I know we're not all there necessarily yet with our portfolios, feeling like, okay, I have enough where I can retire on just passive income generated from DeFi or generated from whatever. But that's a goal, right? That should be a goal, I think, of everyone watching the channel, everyone in crypto. Get to the point where your money works for you and you can, live your life. You don't have to be a slave behind a computer or a slave going to the office or a slave out there working whatever work you do. Have your money work for you. And I think Vox Farms are a prime example. 1% a day. It may not sound like a lot, but that's 300% a year. If you think about that, you can't really get that anywhere from a passive income standpoint outside of things like DeFi. So I applaud you guys. Keep bringing these kind of opportunities. We're looking forward to having Surf paired with your other tokens. Of course, we'll be announcing those on our channels. I do want to turn it over to you guys. Any final thoughts on anything we've discussed thus far or anything else we should know about Vox or your other tokens?
Yeah, if you want to bring up on the website, so even if you're not into farming, there's a lot of really useful tools that Nova and the Vox teams built. They have the bubble charts on the Vox.finance website. These are like probably the best like bubble charts I've seen. I know GoPulse has some and Crypto Banter, but they kind of gatekeep tokens. But this doesn't gatekeep. You can get your token listed where it shows up there if it's at a high increase on the 24-hour daily. Also, the coin ranking page is really cool too. You can just go on there and you can see all the Pulse Chain tokens daily. What they're up, what their market caps are, everything about them. And then there's a portfolio tracker as well. I think this is actually the Richard Hart portfolio tracker that's kind of built into the site. So you have these tools like right at your fingertips. You can use Vox Finance like on a daily basis just to check your crypto. And then if you are into farming, I mean I've been farming all over Pulse Chain since it launched, probably in all the different protocols, and Vox and Hype and Increase have been like my top like highest performing LP positions by far. I mean, I was earning like a few thousand a day when the APRs were in the tens of thousands % when it first launched. Now, I mean, you're able to build up pretty good positions in your LPs at these low prices where you can easily earn a few $100s a day in between all three, pair them together and compound. So it's just a really good opportunity, and it is sustainable. Like I was mentioning, like those inflation rates are actually much lower than people think. So I mean, just get into the farms, try them out. You don't have to put a lot in. Even if you put $100 in LP, buy $100 of one of the tokens, pair it with one of your favorite RH cores, and you'll be actually surprised at how much it can kind of build up, and you can keep compounding your positions. So.
I love it,
and
man. Yeah.
I was just gonna add, just some small bit of information is that aside from all these APRs, and potential price appreciation, you're also getting the V2 trading fees, right? Because when you're in an LP, there's the AMM is automatically doing the trading for you, you know, the profits, when buying low, selling high, as it's supposed to be automatically. So you're earning those V2 trading fees on top of the APR, right? And then for people who are seeking a more, you know, a safer approach, we also offer just some purely RH core ticker pools, right? So that's just a side benefit too. So there's like a PLS DAI, you know, currently paying like 130% APR, so which is amazing. I don't think we're seeing those APRs in RH PulseX farms. So just adding those two bits of pieces, but DeFi Nation's explanation was awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll add here before we jump off for today, the fact that you guys have these ancillary tools, additional tools on the site, the bubble maps, the ranking page, this leads me to believe that, first of all, you guys are top quality devs, you're good at what you do, you can build product and ship product. So then that leads me to wonder, okay, what else could they be cooking up? What else could they be developing in the background that may add value to Vox, may add value to the brand, may create additional exposure? And so for me, I like investing in projects and people that I know are good at their jobs, right? They're good devs, or they're good at marketing, or they're good at whatever they're espousing to do each and every day. You want to align with those kind of people. So I'm excited to see what you guys have come down the pipeline from a product standpoint, additional farms, additional partnerships. There's at least, I would say, 3, if not 4 projects on PulseChain that I think we should introduce you guys to get farms going for those coins. You know what I mean? RhinoFi, great example. So we'll do our best to help push you guys forward because that's what partnership's all about. All right, any final thoughts for today before we jump off, folks?
Yeah, I would just say Nova from Vox and then Karos from Emit. I mean, 2 of the hardest working devs on PulseChain that I know. That's why I've kind of teamed up and partnered with both of them. Even like Nova launched Vox Farms on BaseChain to try to get more onboarding to PulseChain. And he had pairs with like popular meme coins like Brat and Toshi and Coinbase, Wrap Bitcoin. So this is kind of like constantly doing things to like onboard to PulseChain, burn PulseChain core tokens. And we're going to be doing a lot of like marketing events. We did a big Twitter space on Friday that you guys were on. We had 7 other protocols on there. It was sponsored by Vox. Already had hundreds of people tune in. We expect to keep doing like big like X spaces like that, live streams on a lot of the top YouTubers on PulseChain channels, and just kind of trying to get the awareness out of the Vox farms and the high APR opportunities on there. So
love it, man. Love it. Appreciate your guys' time today. I definitely think we'll have you on again in the near future. Definitely hope to join you guys on further spaces. Let's continue pushing Vox forward. Let's continue pushing Surf and Crypto Paradise forward. That's how we win together. Thank you so much for your time, guys. And until next time, see you on the beach.
yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you, Crypto. Thank you, Hitman. Thanks, DeFi.
Crypto is on the rise, making that